Topic today is very close to my heart. Mental health in relationships.
Mental health is real.
BabaShola, I'm on a scale of just be careful of me.
When I get these nuggets from you or from anyone, I just put them in my pocket.
In Ghana, they will call it, that person is Kolo.
That can send that man into, God knows, into a spiral of different emotions.
Look, we're all nicely, me and BabaShola looking flick this morning.
But do you know what
is going on in our heads? I said, just try to get up your...
Be a man.
Be a man. Man up.
Man up.
Woman up. Or what? There's the liar. There's the unreliable. I know you didn't want to do that. You got me.
Yewande, looking colorful.
You know me as usual. I have to contest this consistent black. It's only men that can get me wearing black. Although I appreciate that some women do like wearing black.
Looking colorful.
We can't both looking like we are good.
I trust you're well.
I'm very well.
I'm very
well. And the topic today is very close to my heart. Mental health in relationships.
Yeah. What do you mean by mental health?
Well, let's just call it mental well-being. Because we have physical well-being, we have spiritual well-being, we have mental well-being. Mental health, so it's a health, it's the health of the mind. You know, we are made up of our body, our soul, and our spirit, and all of these things are interrelated. But our mind is where our intellect, our thinking, and all of that is based. So if there's something wrong, like in Ghana, they will call it, that person is Kolo.
Yeah.
You know, it affects everything else. Just like physical health, but it's actually very much more spoken about now, mental well-being, than it used to, you know? And there's a lot more support, certainly worldwide, I would say. But certainly where we are in the United Kingdom. In fact, it's such a buzzword that sometimes it's there's a fine line between, what I used to say is that there's a fine line between madness and well-being. So I feel like we're all on a scale in our mental well-being. It's like a scale of 1 to 10. So I can come in today and say, BabaShola, I'm on the scale of just be careful of me. I'm on the scale of, and I'm not trying to trivialize it, but it's actually, we don't have to wait till we get to the stage where we're on medication before we acknowledge mental health. And I believe that maybe some of us that have grown up maybe in a different part of the world, especially our African countries, let's pick where we know, Nigeria. When I was growing up, it wasn't something that was given a voice like that. You know, it's like that, you're not correct, or you are correct. There was no recognition of it being on a spectrum of mental well-being. And I found out as I was older that I actually have mental health. Mental health is an issue in my family, actually, on my maternal side.
Okay.
So to you?
Yeah. Oh, to me, it's such a broad topic. And as you rightly said, I never took it seriously. But I had to come to an understanding that mental health is real. I had to come to understand mental health. And mental health constitutes, as you said, mental well-being, constitutes so many things. And there are relationships that are affected by either party not recognizing the state of the mental well-being of the partner. And these are some of the things that we are going to discuss today. For me, there was something you said some days ago that, when I get these nuggets from you or from anyone, I just put them in my pocket. And when I say I put them in my pocket, it means I'm assimilating, I'm chewing onto it, and I want you to be a part of it. You said something about, and then I'm paraphrasing now, so you go more into it. You said something about, you saw, maybe it was a clip of someone who said, in your family, you have to recognize those that are angry, those that are are temperamental, those that are just loving and whatever, but recognize them for who they are and then accept them.
Yeah. And then the way that you relate to them changes. So you're not trying to change them, but rather you're adjusting the way that you are towards them.
And it doesn't make you less.
Accommodate them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that's, if we can actually liken that onto mental well-being, because, as you know, I will always say that just give them the benefit of that. Somebody's acting funny, or in your opinion, they're not acting normal. It was normal. Normal is only what normal is to you at that time. And so just give them that benefit of that, because we are all going through different things. Look, we're all nicely, me and BabaShola looking flick this morning.
But do you know what
is going on in our heads? So, obviously, we're on the spectrum in such a way that we can do this. But some people are going through a lot and they're still showing up. So, first of all, if you or someone in your family is going through anything that you don't understand, or you are not sure whether it's mental health is definitely something that's much more spoken about. First, take a deep breath and give them a little bit of slack, because people are going through a lot. And as we say, sometimes men are not encouraged to speak up about mental well-being. I mean, you can speak more about that. And there's just a fine line. I mean, the time that I actually experienced mental unwellness was that I notably recognized it and now realized that this is bad. I was during my separation and divorce. There was a time that I was so numb, I could not even get out of bed. I'll be looking at people doing normal things, like getting up in the morning, brushing their teeth, going to work. And that was when I knew that I think I'm not well. I didn't want to get out of bed. Depression had come upon me. I couldn't get out of bed. I'll be envying people that are just doing normal things. I was depressed, BabaShola, I won't lie.
No one told you, but you knew.
No, at that point, like when you have that moment, I said, because I was always an advocate of, why are you doing 9 to 5 if you are not happy with it? Do what you enjoy doing, and you might not get paid for it yet, and I began to envy those who are just doing whatever they were doing that's normal, because I couldn't even do it. So I realized that you don't have to wait to get to that level, obviously. But I realized that, no, I'm depressed. And I said, no, something has to change. But what? Who do I talk to? And that's another thing. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. But to use the analogy, you have to choose somebody that you feel can take you seriously. We all have family members. The ones that say, just get up your...
Be a man.
Be a man, man up, woman up, or whatever they say. Wow. And I remember asking, myself that so many things I went through when I was a child that it wasn't even recognized. It was later in life that I found out that I was on the dyslexic spectrum. I didn't even know. My son used to tell me at the time that, he found certain tasks a bit more challenging. He's a very brilliant boy. And I'm like, just work at that, because that was how. And I realized that when I got older, when he was diagnosed with certain traits, that was when I realized that, wow, I had it as well. Things like, I never knew, things like not being able to listen and make notes at the same time. Now, I'm not saying that's a mental disorder. I'm just saying that I just used to compensate for it in other ways. When I used to be in uni, I would always have a dictaphone because I couldn't take the notes and be listening to the lecturer at the same time. And I've done that for years before it even, all these gadgets we had became fashionable. I always had a dictaphone with me. And so it's recognizing if there's something that's worrying you. It could start like a worry. Worrying about money. It could start being anxious about a job. It could be even anxiety in your relationship. I feel for you men sometimes, because traditionally it's men that go and ask women out. that can trigger us. And ladies, please, I'm begging you. If a man approaches you to talk to you, to say hello, just even if you don't like his physical being, give him a chance. He's a human being. Let him talk. I'm always saying to women who tell me that, oh, they've got everything, they just need man. I said, when one approaches you, you have already looked him up and down. You know how we do now. You've judged him. It's not good for that man's mental well-being. Please talk to me.
God knows how long that man someone of that courage to take that step, and to articulate. And you're absolutely spot on, because that can send that man into, God knows, into a spiral of different emotions, depending on how that man. And as you rightly said, even if you don't fancy the man
or see him as a potential,
I think just give him the opportunity to to speak. And you know that it's not going to go anywhere, but there are ways in which you can end it there and then, and you get the message.
Me, I said, don't even end it. One man's food is another man's, I don't want to say poison. One man's food is another man's fancy. If he's not good for you, he might be good for one of your other sisters. Because
that's another topic. Another sister can say that it's not good for you. Why must it be good for me?
Okay, let me put it a different way. I have what I call relationship CV. So I tell all my friends, people who are close to me, they know this. If you have your spec and I have it, to use your words, BabaShola, in my back pockets, somebody might approach me. Some people even approach me as a married woman, and I'm always nice to any man that approaches me. And sometimes they'll say things like, oh, I wish some of these single women were as nice as you. I always say to them that, look, don't be put off. Let me know your spec, because I have like sisters. So I'm not going to go and tell my sister friend, oh, somebody approached me that I didn't like. Because, of course, if you put it like that, they're going to say, if it's not good for you, why should it be good for me? Do you understand? So it's all about, remember how you package it. Remember when we were talking about doing your health checks?
Yes.
It's all about packaging. And so if we are talking about mental well-being, be careful how you are dealing with people, even if they're coming across unwell. Because some people, remember back in the day when we used to have, when the smartphone and all that, and all these earpieces you just see people talking in the street. Before we had the smartphone, that was not considered normal behavior. But because now we have earpieces, but it became normal.
It's very true.
It's just all relative.
Me just taking my walk and talking is normal now.
It's normal now, but there was no things like, watch out for that bros. It's not correct. So let's give each other that benefit of that, especially in relationships. Some relationships are suffering because of lack of understanding, which brings the analogy I was saying that if you understand your family members, which is what it was about, the clip was talking about, there are all types of people in your family. There's the liar, there's the unreliable. I know you didn't want to. I got you, Mama. I said, I didn't want to come. In every family, there's the liar, there's the unreliable. Yes. You just have to know how to deal with them. The liar, you know that everything they say is a lie. So why are you giving all hot and cold about it? You know they lying.
It will help you.
It will help you. You will adjust accordingly.
Yes.
You know me, I'm naive. Anything you tell me. And I always say, I choose to believe anything you tell me. It doesn't mean I'll act on it, of course. But I'll choose to believe you. I'll just adjust myself, okay? And I will not act on it.
Yeah.
Because you know. So with ourselves, with mental well-being, let's give ourselves some flack. Because it's breaking up relationships. Anxiety, worry, that's all on the spectrum. If it's not dealt with. So how do you deal with somebody that you know is going through something?
How do I deal with someone that I know is going through? We all go through.
Yes.
We all go through. First thing first is to be intentional, is to recognize that, was it you or I think it was you I first heard it from. When someone talks to you rudely or are spoken in a very condescending manner, you will say, who hurt you? You know, who you have to, there has to be that understanding that that person that you are having that person that you're in a relationship with, or you are communicating with, is behaving in a manner that you think is not normal. If you mimic the behavior, then, you know, there won't be a solution.
Yes, there'll be explosion.
There will be explosion. So I would, in my situation, I always take a back seat. I am the type you describe as I keep quiet and I listen. I try to listen. And it hasn't been that for, I wasn't born with that. I had to acquire it. I had to be intentional about it. Because my daughter normally asks, she was still asking me yesterday, but that, there's this thing she's anxious about. And I just tell her, don't worry, everything will be okay. He said, but Dad, teach me, how do you remain so calm? How do you stay so calm? And
that's anxiety. She's got that anxiety.
She's got anxiety.
And she does. She hasn't.
A few days before then, she said, Dad, I really didn't sleep well because I know that she's anxious about certain things, And I said, but Dad, you are so calm about it. I said I'm calm about it because number one, I'm a Christ follower. That's my belief. I follow Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ, and so I have taken all my worries onto
and that's what the Bible says. Cast your burden.
Yeah. I have.
Yes. So you've taken that worry. So some people, mental well-being will be dealing with it with their faith.
Dealing with it with their faith. That is one. That's an aspect, because there are one thing I tell my children, I tell my friends is that why worry over something that you have no solution over. That you can't deal with.
That you can't change.
That you cannot change. Why worry? What is without trivializing the issue, I try to let them understand the point of not worrying, the disadvantage of worrying, because there will always be another day.
That's true. And depending on how you learn how to deal with anxiety and worry will sometimes determine how mentally well or unwell you become.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's linked.
Yes, it's very much linked, because it's how you deal with the little things that saying is the little things that spoil the vine.
Yeah.
So talking, and I know that women were much better at it, than men generally, statistically. And also, having you on the podcast is part of that. Helping people to see that, look, men have some of the same concern, because there's so many shows like this that is just headed by women, and women will be talking their own. We don't need no man. Another stories for other days.
Don't need no man. Okay.
Stories for other days. That is what is causing some mental health for some people.
Yes.
Because there's no balance in your life. You need, and when I say man, I'm talking in the context of relationships. Relationships is not just about a lifelong partner. That's one aspect. Relationship is just having relationship with people.
You go to work, you're having a relationship with your colleagues. You know, you're in the train or you're in the bus or whatever, and someone may just eye contact, smile.
And then you're, what's he looking at me for? Yeah. Can't he see that we are not on? Man is just greeting you. Maybe he likes the way you dye your hair or whatever. You understand? Of course, there are people who are what I call, they have attention-seeking dressing. That one, again, attention-seeking dressing. You know what I'm saying? The one with the man eye will be popping to the point that...
Definitely, especially in this part of the world where summer, the sun doesn't come out often. So when it does come out, we see all sorts.
Yes. So we have to be more sensitive to each other's needs generally. And so we have to be big on just general well-being. So things like doing a job you enjoy will help your mental well-being. Not sleeping properly. If you're in a relationship, that was the other thing I was hearing. Whether you use pet name or you don't use pet name. That's another topic. If you are in a relationship, it's okay to use pet names, my people. Me, my husband, I call him my baby. He too, he calls me my baby. This is true. Is it not true, Baba? It's true. It doesn't make me that he's a baby. But if you are a Christian, the Bible says we should be like little children. So it's all right too for those religious people amongst us. But anyway.
But it works for both of you. That's the most important thing.
It immediately stopped like in an argument. Yeah. When we're arguing, in fact, one time, let me share this one with you. We were arguing. We were in a different country. We were in Ghana, to be precise. We were arguing. We had argued about something. In fact, we were so mad at each other. We saw a Catholic church because my husband is Catholic. We said, let's go and confess our sin to the Father and just pray. So we went in there, we knelt down, we prayed, we came out, but we were still fuming. And then my husband saw somebody we hadn't seen for a long time, for years. He had forgotten we were arguing. He said, my baby. I said, what? He said, you didn't just see, I've just seen so and so. I said, my baby, you didn't. Immediately, we had forgotten ourselves. But if I said, Mr. Al-Hassan, it's so formal. Or Brother Tonka.
Oh my God.
So let's have lightheartedness in our everyday dealings with one another. Okay. I'm not necessarily saying that, obviously, calling somebody that is not your spouse, my baby, my darling, my sugar, my sweetheart. But what I'm saying is that in a relationship, these are some of the ways we deal with anxiety and worry, by not being serious all the time, not taking ourselves too seriously. And like you said with your daughter, if it's something she's anxious about that she can't change, that's one of the ways to deal with worry. Is it something you can do something about?
Exactly.
So sometimes what we're worrying about is outside of our control.
I agree. Okay. What's going to happen is we're going to take a break and there's going to be a part 2. And in the part 2, we're going to now focus on mental health in a relationship now between, those that have a serious relationship. Let's
are planning a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Because it will play out. How many years have you been married? 20-something years.
30 years, yeah.
I've now been married going to 8 years, second time around. The first time, it was like 14 years. And yes, you will have it. So look out for part 2 of this.
Definitely.
And please, let's have your comments. What do you think mental health is? Have you been affected by it in any way? Do you know anyone with mental health? I've shared already that in my family, we have a tendency of mental health. And I'll tell you in the next part how I've managed to deal with my mental well-being. Because there are members of my family that didn't deal very well with it.
And I will share with you as well how something I had a thought, and it was many years later, that I realized that, wow, that was serious. And now I can now recognize that it was to do with mental health as well. I didn't know at the time. But yeah. So part two loaded.
We'll see you in the next time. And thank you.
Thank you
for your comments in advance. Subscribe, like, and share. And your comments are very important. We've been seeing that people have been commenting on one of the episodes.
A lot of people send voice notes and
private messages.
Let them. Very interesting. Share it with us, please.
Yes.
Share. Put it down
in the comment because it helps other people apart from ourselves.
It does because they are lovely, lovely messages.
Yes.
So we want you to share them with everyone.
All right.